Hey guys, it's Marissa from Grow in the Flow. How's everybody doing today? It's Thriving Thursday, and I thought I would pop in here just to chat for a little bit, pull some cards, and talk about the very intense energies that are around at this time. If you have been feeling it, that is no surprise because there has been so much building this week and still to come as we move into the weekend. There's a lot happening astrologically, and I like to talk a lot about tools, using our tools to help us to access our own inner knowing, our intuition, in order to glean new perspectives and clarity in different areas. And of course, one of my favorites is cards, the tarot, oracle cards, but also weaving in so many other fun and fascinating aspects such as crystals and nature aspects and elements and color and energy healing and so many other goodies. And astrology is another one of those tools that we can really tune into. I am by no means an expert. I am an enthusiast. I'm fascinated by it all. If you are very familiar with astrology, I welcome you to share with us what you know. But I have a few favorite sources that I pull in each month to really tune into what's going on our own levels in the microcosm, but also collectively on the world stage and what we might expect to see coming up from that perspective. And what I love about that, and I always talk about with my clients, is, the moon. What are we talking about with the moon all the time, being tuned into what cycle the moon is in and how does that affect me? What's going on up there? And it's that whole idea that, we fully understand how the moon regulates the waters of our planet, how it regulates the tides. We understand that to be fact. And in fact, we are 70% water ourselves. So it leans into the scientific aspects of how it is that what is happening in the sky directly correlates with what is going on with our physical bodies as well as our energetic bodies here on the planet. And so not only what's happening with the moon, but the other planets within the solar system, they're all different lenses through which energy streams onto our planet. And it never stops amazing me when I do tune into what's going on, how I have these aha moments about how that is exactly how I'm feeling. That's exactly what I've been seeing. And so as I've been tuning into some of the current events and things that are coming in just in the next day or so, mind blowing how it all is connected. So much so that I even printed out some of my little handy resources I have, because it shares with us some of the upcoming dates and things that are happening right now in terms of retrogrades, moon cycles, eclipses, planetary alignments. So where we're at right now is, as of April 26th, we have officially moved into Mercury retrograde's pre-shadow, okay? Mercury retrograde has a wrap. We will talk more about that when it is officially retrograde, which is on May 10th. But we're just now stepping into that pre-shadow of Mercury going retrograde. But more recently coming up, we have Pluto going retrograde tomorrow, April 29th. Little Pluto, still a planet, is an outer planet, and it is going retrograde. We haven't had any planets retrograde. The planets have all been moving direct since February. So we've had this general period of forward movement. Retrograde is when the planets are moving backwards, that we may feel ourselves revisiting, recycling through whatever that planet governs. And so Pluto is the planet of death and rebirth, and has us looking at things in our lives that have passed and what is coming forward to be rebirthed, but also the new chapters in our lives. So there's some really cool aspects that are coming forward, and how does that play out? And so, when we talk about reflecting on cycles of death and rebirth in our life, we're asked, what has faded away? What has been transformed? What has been rebirthed within us? And so I had to note this down because I've been thinking back. Pluto went direct in October 2021. And so when we look at these periods of retrograde, we're talking about looking at this specific block of time. what has been transforming in your life since October of 2021? So luckily it's not too far back. If you think back to what's been going on for you in and around that time and since, that is a good guide for us to take a look at what is transforming for us and what is coming up for us to take a look at. And so looking at rebirth and revisiting those transformations, we really have an opportunity to step into our own power in our lives. But Pluto has some strong energies. When we talk about rebirth, when we talk about shadow, when we talk about digging things up that need to come up to the surface, to be, and it's giving me this image of like, washing or wiping the dirt away to reveal the jewel, to reveal, what it is that is being unearthed. And so it's almost like, I'm seeing like that brush, like an archaeologist or a paleontologist would like dig something up and brush away the dirt very carefully to take a look at the precious jewel or what has come forward being unearthed, coming up from the ground. And that feels very connected in with the Taurus energy as well, because of course we are in Taurus season. And right here, Pluto retrograde tomorrow, new moon in Taurus the next day, Saturday the 30th, and it's a partial solar eclipse. And solar eclipses always happen at the new moon. So they are all about shining the light on things and bringing in unexpected changes and things to be made aware of. And when done in tandem with the new moon, it really amplifies the power of that particular new moon. In fact, some of the resources I was looking at said it is like the power of 100 new moons. So no pressure with what you're manifesting, but it is something to think about when we start to look at what are we wanting to bring in this way of rebirth and transformation. We have this supercharged, superpower new moon coming up on Saturday to work with. But first we're looking at shadow aspects, death, what is passing, what has come to pass in these last several months since October as a good guidepost for us to be taking a look at. So again, having that invitation to step into our power, but if we haven't stepped up enough, we may find ourselves forced to make that leap. And that's where that gentle, loving nudge comes from the universe. And that's coming on several fronts because we have the energy of the retrograde and we have the solar eclipse, the partial solar eclipse energy, all culminating in these next couple of days. So taking a look at those energies, new moons always bringing in that potential for new beginnings, new starts. Eclipses are very likely to open doors, windows, and draw entirely new paths for us, to illuminate new paths and course corrections. So there's a lot of talk coming in here about soul contracts and things that we may have set out to do in this lifetime on this Fool's journey, bringing back in our tarot aspects. And if you saw my April Fool's, everybody plays the Fool, little kind of peek at the tarot and how that weaves in with our life paths. If you didn't, it is pinned here in the group. I also have it on my YouTube channel. But that helps to kind of talk about how we can work with the tarot as a tool, looking at our journeys, our Fool's journey. And that's where we can kind of take a look with the tarot cards at how that all culminates. So we have all of that going on. We have potential for accelerations on our timelines with eclipses. There's just a lot of powerful energy going on with that. But what I thought we would look at is the Pluto retrograde today, because I did locate a really beautiful spread for Pluto retrograde. I'm going to be putting this with the post, so you'll be able to see this spread if you'd like to try it for yourself, because this is going to be a collective reading. So of course, this is always looking at universal energy, and so you're going to find some aspects may resonate more than others. That's how it works. But the best way to get personal guidance is to have a personal reading, or one that is really focused on your energy specifically. So I'm going to go ahead and use the Psychic Tarot and take a look at these 6 cards for us. And so I'll just start shuffling as we talk through. Let me see what just leapt out. Movement, choices, and decisions. Yes, a card just popped out that talks about being at a choice point, being at a crossroads of looking at these different directions and where do we want to go? What are we leaving behind and what are we taking with us? So the first card represents me, you, before the upgrade. So we're getting energy into where we're at prior to this or retrograde coming up. I'm seeing a pattern here with the numbers coming forward. The second card is what part of my life is waiting to be transformed? So let's get a peek into that. What will these changes look like to me? So how might they appear to you? And how can I go with the flow for these changes? So how can I best navigate with grace and ease? What toxic pattern should I focus on releasing? So what is that dirt that we're brushing away? Card to represent me after the retrograde. Okay. All right. So the first card that came up is another 2, like the card that popped out as soon as I touched the deck. This one is the waiting game. And here's what I love about this card. This is a shout out to one of my dear friends who gave me this correlation with this card. See these rings here around this hourglass, this waiting game? These represent to me different timelines, different potentialities that we are on, different paths that we may have taken. So when we're looking at a card to represent us before the retrograde, we could find ourselves here at this precipice, this place where we're sort of looking out and surveying the land, looking out over the panoramic view of everything that we've had that's come to pass and where we are headed, and deciding which way you're going to go. So you may find yourself at this choice point, at this crossroad, and there could be things that you've really put some roots into. There could be some things that you have really established yourself in that you're being invited to walk away from, to leave behind, to move on. This could be a physical move. This could be a change of a career change. It could be changes in your social settings, in friends and people who you may be spending your time and energy with that perhaps are no longer really serving you. There could be these different opportunities that you're taking a look at as to where you want to grow next. And that's what I'm getting, like where you want to take your roots and take from the roots all of the good, the nutrients, all of the things that have brought forward positive growth, and take that with you to plant new. So we kind of find ourselves here at this choice point with the 2. So then we look at what part of my life is waiting to be transformed. We get the beautiful Ace of Cups. Love begins. So now this can have to do with love in any form in your life. So, a part of your life that has to do with, now water represents emotion. So it's all of the things that you're looking to maybe sort of have a fresh start on. So if you have been feeling really dense, heavy emotion, if you have been kind of in a murky place where it's not clear which way you want to go, or you've been feeling blocked, this is a place you might want to be heading with more clarity, with more flow. And this can represent certainly romantic love, relationships of all kinds, partnerships, and so forth, but it's an offering that's coming in, and it is something that is showing to be very beautiful and very prosperous for you. It is the new beginning of something that is rooted in love. And so again, love in all its forms. So, that part of you that really wants to be tied into doing something that feels more in alignment with you and your most authentic self, that's the area. So whatever's pinging for you, again, it can be love, it can be family, friendships, social life, it can be career, whatever area is pinging for you that you've been feeling the inkling, feeling the urge to have transformation and change, that's where we're going to be seeing that light shone on for you with the solar eclipse and new moon energy. What changes, what will these changes look like to me? There is so much new beginning happening here. I can't stress enough. Another ace, number 1, at the beginning, prosperity begins. Look, choosing that timeline, choosing the direction that you want to go, taking with you the parts of those roots that you had set down and planting new seeds is going to bring forward prosperity in your life. And so what is that going to look like to you? I do see greater connection. So connecting with like-minded people, finding your tribe, feeling like, and I think it's interesting that if I glanced at this, I would have thought that's an apple tree. These are peaches. And so there's a lot of things that are ripe for the picking, but the apple tree ties me in with family line, with our ancestral connection, with our roots, with our base. And so when we talk about what these changes might look like, there could be changes happening in family, changes happening in your wherever you have your roots down, again, so in your home. And again, this can be big changes. It can be little changes, like you might be making physical changes to your home, to your space. This is a wonderful time to be clearing out, spring cleaning, decluttering, clearing things out to donate and pay forward, things that are no longer bringing you joy in the physical, but also energetically. So all new beginnings so far. We have ones, twos. The aces are all about new opportunity. So there's so much new coming in on the other side of this Pluto retrograde. Did I mention Pluto will be retrograde until October 8th? So this is a slow moving situation, but use that energy, use the Taurus energy to make those slow, definitive steps as you go forward, practical plotting and taking steps one at a time at your pace. So now we're going to look at number 4, where we have, how can I go with the flow for these changes? I talked about the Fool. Everybody plays the Fool. Here it is. This is the Fool, card 0, literally new beginnings, starting out new. And I love it because we're talking about we're here, we're on planet Earth, we're anchored in, we're rooted in, here we are walking about, and yet there is just such a feeling of the universe all around us as our guide. She has her walking stick and she's heading out, trusting, open, ready for adventure. So, how can you go with the flow for these changes is just staying open, having trust and faith that on your Fool's journey, everything that comes up for you, all of those doors that open, the doors that close, endings, new beginnings are all a part of your Fool's journey. So stay open to understanding, to look through the lens of what is this showing up to teach me, show me, reflect back to me about myself. Really go through that process of stopping, taking a look at it through different lenses. Try on different lenses, because there is that lower vibrational lens that can say, why is this always happening to me? Oh, great. You say there's going to be surprises. What's going to happen now? Oh, retrograde. Yeah, you can wear that lens, but doesn't this feel much more empowering to be on top of the world, so to speak, where you are stepping forward in your power? And that's what Pluto retrograde is bringing forward. 2 more cards. What toxic pattern should I focus on releasing? And then a card to represent me after the retrograde. What toxic pattern should I reflect on? We literally got the Moon card. We literally got the Major Arcana card. So Major Arcana, those significant stops along the Fool's journey. Shadow, Moon. Look at that. It's like a mirror reflection. So Pluto is all about the shadow, all about digging up, unearthing, bringing up all that stuff, looking at the debris, sweeping away what is no longer needed, and embracing and really integrating in, perhaps even aspects of our shadow that have a place. They have a place in our being. And so retrograde can bring up those toxic patterns, and what it could be is toxic pattern as a tendency to not want to look at our shadow, to look away, to deflect, to project onto others even. So that would be another nod that if you find yourself having conflict with others, okay, disagreements, difficulty communicating, understanding, feeling irritated or annoyed by others, people, places, and things, situations, right? Aspects of relationships. One of your lenses says, what is this telling me about me? What is this reflecting back to me about myself that I have an opportunity to see? And from that place is where you can start to look at those toxic patterns that might be showing up for you, that your relationships are gifting to you, reflecting back to you the opportunity to take a closer look at, to see, literally reflecting back at you, your own shadow. So definitely there's going to be ample opportunity if you so choose. But remember, there is that energy of you can step into your power, or you may find yourself in a course correction that puts you onto a path that will once again provide you new opportunities to do that shadow work. So how about after the retrograde? Beautiful card, Memories of Love, Six of Cups. This is a card of nostalgia. It's a card of childhood. It is a card that represents children as well. It can represent karmic ties, but I love how it is depicted here with those ripples, and it's almost like sending your light out into the world and how that has that ripple effect for others. So you doing this work that's in your hands, this opportunity for you to shine your light. And remember, the shadow and the light they need each other. You cannot have one without the other. So as you integrate those aspects, that is the gift that you give to the world to shine your light forward. Okay. And so I do see that there is some of that being sent out. So there's an opportunity for you to share your light with others. So on the other side of this retrograde, there could be some aha moments and some things that really help you to clue into how you can best shine your light in the world. And again, big ways and small ways. This can and it even can be with children in your life. It can be bringing up inner child stuff for you that you want to delve into deeper, that you want to look at more closely. Part of that shadow work can have to do with incorporating in aspects of your inner child. If a certain time period comes up for you in reflection, that is all stuff. Again, keeping it simple for the collective, but that is the kind of stuff that we can delve into more deeply. Now, I'm actually going to be getting ready to do my new moon readings today for my empowerment packs for April. I'm just going to put a little blurb here with this video about my May empowerment packs, because we're ready to start a new cycle, a new month, May 1st, Beltane. New energy coming in, and it's another month where I have a pack of readings that you may be interested in that can help empower you with insight and guidance for the month ahead, working with the full moon and the new moon this month, which in May, which there's even more happening then, but we can't get into all that now, but there's more stuff happening in May. So much beautiful, powerful energy that we have to work with. If you're interested, I will put that information there for you. And then what else was there? There's more, but I don't want to make this too long. There's planetary alignments going on. There's a Neptune, Jupiter, Venus conjunction. And what's really nice and lovely about that is that Venus actually rules Taurus. So Taurus in this new moon that's happening on Saturday is very comfy in that place. Very comfy because it's in, Venus is aligned with Neptune and Jupiter. And so there is an opportunity here for extra strong energy working with the aspects of Venus, which is about romance, creativity, and spiritual growth. You also may be feeling drawn to energy of self-care, spending time with loved ones, and recharging by the water, which sounds lovely. It is freezing cold here today, so I am definitely looking forward to mild temperatures and feeling compelled to be in the water and by the water. So let me pull, I have one little oracle deck here, the Cosmic Journey. I was going to pull one last card, so this doesn't go too long for you. But if you've hung with me all this time, thank you. If you're interested in this spread, I will put it there in case you wanted to pull cards for yourself. I'd be very interested to know, what's coming up for you, how you're feeling. Are you feeling the energies of the retrograde, energies coming in, the new moon, the eclipse? We also just had a very interesting week of 5 planets being in Pisces for several days, from last Sunday to yesterday, midday. So there may have been a lot of emotion. Again, the water is playing a role. bringing up a lot of things. You may be feeling really connected in with your intuition. There is just so much. So let's go ahead and pull a card for a final oracle message for us to go with what has come forward here for us today. I knew this card was going to come up. Oh my gosh. Okay. See through the perfectly purple lens of your galactic destiny. Purple, purple, purple. So, had no time to even get into this with you, but it's still sitting here because I was talking about it with someone else. How the purple was showing up for me, and specifically a nod to the energy of Prince. I almost shared with you today this exact card. In fact, I might just do it now so you know that I'm not crazy. Prince was coming forward with some energies to talk about being your most authentic self and creating for you, and trusting that that is going to attract in others who need and appreciate what it is that you have to give. So that's feeling really tied into what you can expect on the other side of this retrograde, is that you're calling in your tribe, your people, the people who need you. So whether you're in a spiritual business and you're calling in your soul clients, or you're looking to find people who resonate with you and your frequency, and I'm getting even like your freak flags, like just really being you as however that may show up, really leaning into that. And I just can't tell you how crazy it is, because I literally played a Prince song this morning while I was getting my kids ready for school, and I was feeling this, and it still managed to come in. So I'm having a moment over here, but I will have to share with you what I was talking about with this, and say that, again, more to come as we explore all these energies. But just so you know that what this spray is, and I actually did spray it before I came on here, this is the energies of Archangel Zadkiel, which is all about the violet ray, the violet flame energy, and having to do with forgiveness and transmutation. And that's a very strong energy that works very well with everything that's coming up, because when you take a look at what is moving out, what you are birthing new, what is transforming in your life, that's transmutation, transmuting things from a former state into the new. And so this is a beautiful energy to work with when we're talking about moving through stages of release, forgiveness, and transmutation. So perfectly purple energy coming forward to wrap up the messages that have come forward today. I do hope that you found them to resonate. Always appreciate your engagement and comments below. If there's anything specific that you are interested in knowing more about, pulling cards, whatever it may be, feel free to share as well. But I thank you so much for joining me, sending you so many new moon blessings and eclipse blessings. Take good care.